Good morning, Morai ve'Rabotai. Tizku l'shanim rabot, neimot v'tovot. This story takes place in the city of Petach Tikva. There was a retired Rav, Talmid Chacham, a man that was very influential in his community, that lost his wife and he was living alone at home. But Baruch Hashem, he had a very, very loving children and grandchildren. They never left him alone. Yomam v'layla, every day there was someone at his side, tending to his needs, food, clothes, walking, shopping, whatever it may be. And what happens is, he was a relatively healthy individual, didn't need any nursing homes or hospital stay. He was at home. And one day while one of his grandchildren was sitting and learning at home with the grandfather, he starts gasping for air. And the grandchild sees that the grandfather needs some medical attention. He wants to run to his aide, gets a phone, but the grandfather is saying, "Come here." He's calling the grandchild. Let's just call him Shimon. "Shimon, come over here." And Shimon approaches his grandfather. He's like, Saba, what's happening?" He says, "Shimon," he's gasping for air. "Shimon, do me a favor. Get me the tickets for the belly dancing show with the Filipino girls." And the grandson hears, he's like, "Saba, what did you just say?" And he can't talk anymore. He's gasping for air. The grandson runs, gets a phone, calls the tzala. But before you know it, Parcha nishmato, he returned his soul to his creator. You can just imagine the trauma, the confusion. A, you see your grandfather pass away before your eyes. And B, not Kriya Shema, not Vidui, but he's asking for tickets for a belly dancing show. Shem Yirachim. This kid is absolutely confused. He's traumatized. Comes along the Levaya, everyone's standing there. What a chashvei Rav. Yomam v'layla learning Torah. Chesed, Rav Pa'alim. And the grandson is thinking, blah, 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 blah. If they only knew who he really was. If they only knew what his last request was. And this is what happened, Be'emet. The first day of the Shiva, second day of the Shiva. Eventually he went to his Rebbe. He says, "Rebbe, I have to tell you what happened before my grandfather died." And the Rebbe's excited. "Let me hear, what kind of Sodot Torah, what did he reveal to you? Well, what was he revealing to you before his nifter?" He says, "Rebbe, don't think anything major happened here. My grandfather was gasping for air and he tells me to get him tickets for a certain priesthood show that was apparently taking place." The Rebbe hears this and he takes his Talmid's hand. He starts giving a little stroke in the hand and he says, "What happened, forget about it. Don't be moitzi laz al ames. He probably lost his mind. Forget it ever happened. Chas v'shalom for you to talk to anyone about this." The Talmud said, "Rebbe, no problem." But he walked out thinking, yeah, rabbis covering up for rabbis. Forget about it. That's what he's asking for before his nifter. And you tell me to forget about it? The Seder, third day of the Shiva, everyone's praising him. Talmid Chacham, Goyin Adir, Bal Chesed, Tzedakah, the whole 9 yards, and the grandson is eating himself up. He mentioned it to a few other people, but no one could answer. Just keep it quiet, forget about it. He lost his mind. One day, a group of elderly people walk in. People that knew the grandfather, the nifter, for many years earlier. Each one tells over his story. And then one of them tells the family, "I want to share with you an amazing thing that happened 4 or 5 decades ago. When the nifter was a young Rav in the community, there was posters all over town that there'll be a certain show of female dancers from the Philippines. All over town. And the young Rav, the nifter, saw this. And he was eating himself up knowing that many of his followers, many of his youth will be going to this show. So he and his Rebbitzin, they decided they have to put an end to this. What did they do? They went to the bank and they took a major loan. They went to the box office and they bought out basically all the tickets. Came along the day of the event and you had a few bodedim that showed up. You have 500-600 seats and maybe 20-30 are being used. Mission accomplished. But now, mission accomplished, but you have a few $1,000 debt. Imagine you have $18 seats and the $26 seats. You can just imagine how much money he has to pay back to the bank. So he and the Rebbitzin felt good, but they were disturbed. They went to this Stipler Gaon to ask them if what they did was necessary. Do they have to keep, putting themselves in trouble to stop these kind of things from happening? And the Stipler told them very simply, I can't tell you that this is your chovah, this is your obligation to do. But what I will tell you is that after 120 years, take those tickets of this dancing show, take it to the Rebbeinu Shalom, because that's your ticket to Gan Eden. The grandson is sitting there and he's like, now I understand why my grandfather asked me for the tickets for this dancing show. Ladies and gentlemen, when people reach a certain age, a lot of things are floating around in their thoughts, in their minds. A lot of things are going through their head. We may not notice it, but they're thinking about a lot of things. What's going to be with my wife, my husband, my children, my friends, my family, my grandchildren, my community? Everyone has his own thoughts. They think of allocating gifts, like Rabbi Krohn said, potentially to their grandchildren, maybe to an organization, maybe to one of their friends that has children in Koilel, whatever it is. He's had many thoughts. Maybe he even hinted it to his family at one point. But Morai v'Rabotai, if he doesn't take the machshava and put it onto paper, that's going to be accepted by halakha and by the law, then you know what? Like Rabbi Krohn pointed out, a lot of machloket is going to come out about it. A lot of arguments, a lot of hatred. We see what happens with families, Hashem Yishmor, where families are torn, where the father could have wished, he could have said something now, but it's already too late. This initiative that Rabbi Zon is starting, or I'm sure he's done this for many years, but giving it a little push. Yes, it's very uncomfortable. Yes, to sit down and to talk and to write and to sign and to direct, it's very uncomfortable. But like they pointed out, it's much, much worse when he goes up to Shamayim and he sees what he left in this world, Chaz v'Shalom. So this is an amazing, amazing initiative that's being put forth. It's something that everyone should really discuss freely at the right time with their loved ones, when they're healthy and they're the gesund, everything's good, Baruch Hashem. Everything will be put down on paper. Like he said, he could update it every few years, but it's going to be matzil, many, many churbanot. A lot of churban that may happen, Chaz v'Shalom, within families. Rabbi Krohn ended off, and I'll end off in the same way. Halavai, everything that Rabbi Zon will be talking about today, whether it's about these wills, about autopsies that are going on, Hashem Yirachem, whether it's about all the different things that are cremations, Rahman al-Zan. Hopefully, everything we talk today should be a bracha levatala. Hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, we should all be zoiche to see Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mira b'yameinu. We should be seeing Tchias HaMesim b'mira b'yameinu, and all these things shouldn't be done. But we have to realize we're living in the Olam HaAsiyah. We have to make sure, we have to do our ishtadlus. So Bezrat Hashem, if everyone could follow up, Rabbi Zon will talk about this right now, and take these documents, fill it out with your loved ones, and we should only hear be'emes that when a person is nifter from this world, that he leaves shalom in this world, not chaz v'shalom, b'chalkis amongst family members. Yiratzon we should all be zochelik, we said, to see the b'yad tzadek, b'mera b'yameinu, amen ve'amen.